Going to see a movie out in the theaters can be an experience. Sometimes the experience is just fantastic. The popcorn is fresh, the crowd of people are quiet and they're not on their phones, and the movie ends up being even better than you expected. But that doesn't happen every time. And we're going to talk about those not so good experiences in today's video, and let me, Jeff, take you on a tour all across the country to different movie theaters and read some funny and weird one-star reviews. So if you like this idea, leave a like and comment down below any other ideas you have. I'll add it to my list. Alright, let's go! Our first stop takes us to the Starlight Cinema in Los Lunas, New Mexico. This teal and purple movie theater has a 4.5 rating on 1,489 reviews. This city has a population of 17,242 people, and a quick fact about it is that Los Lunas was the location of 2 different Breaking Bad episodes. So with all of that in mind, let's go read some movie theater reviews. We'll get Starlight started with Brett.
Staff was rude.
Service was fast for the first time ever, though. Seats in the theater squeak a lot, are filthy, many rips and tears. Advertisement for a smoke shop shows up in a theater for a kids movie.
Timmy, where's Lassie?
She's out in the orchard, Ma. Peaches are coming in mighty early this year.
Smoke.
I'd rather drive 45 minutes to Albuquerque for a better theater than ever go back here. Well, we're off to a good start. Staff is rude, the seats suck, and they show smoke shop advertisements to kids. What else can go wrong here? Let's find out what happened to Anthony. Just poor management on handling situations, especially when a staff member knows somebody at the theater and kicks me and my brother out when we were told to stop vaping, and we did. And then some old lady complained 30 minutes later about us chewing tobacco because apparently the spitting was too loud. Ugh. And yes, I know it's gross to some, but it doesn't concern them. Like, come on, seriously, we were watching the movie. That's their problem, not ours, but we get kicked out? Seriously, we apologize and everything, but we can't finish our movie that we paid for? Good thing for refunds. And I didn't know they had a rule about chewing tobacco. Smoking cigarettes, yes, I understand, but chewing tobacco? Come on, ugh! Now that was a loaded review. Do you guys think it was poor management, or do you guys just think that Anthony and his brother are just too nicotine addicted to sit through an hour-and-a-half movie? Let me know, and let's go to the next review. And that review comes from Patricia. Staff is dishonest, so don't take anything of value into theater. My husband accidentally left his phone there. When we were leaving, the cleaning crew were coming in. We got back to the theater in no more than 10 minutes, and guess what?
No phone.
Gone. We will never go to this theater and never recommend it. This review here is exactly why every time I go to a movie, I stand up and I feel for my phone in my wallet because I'm always afraid of it falling out in one of those recliner seats, and I feel like everyone should do it. And I wonder if they ended up finding the phone later in their car. The next review comes from something else that could be lost in a seat. It's from Penny. Kids were running around screaming and adults were fighting loudly and turning on phone lights throughout the movie. Before the turning on the phone lights line, I thought Penny was describing the opening scene to Home Alone.
Miss, young lady, excuse me, girls. Hey, sit down. Hey, excuse me, girls. Girls, take the wedges. Hey, excuse me.
The next review comes from something you definitely don't want to get stuck in a movie theater seat, especially if you're a guy. It comes from Richard. The seats reek of body odor and they're all sticky. There's dust all over. The manager once told me that a private company comes and cleans, but in my mind, they don't do a good job. The only reason I come here is because there's no other movie theater nearby.
Owners.
Come look for yourselves. I think if I, Jeff, personally went to this movie theater and it smelled like body odor and everything was all sticky when I went into it, I would probably turn right around to get a refund and just call it quits for the day. I wouldn't be able to handle the stench and the stickiness in through another Disney live-action remake. Let's see what happened to Monica at this New Mexican movie theater. I just don't like theaters, but for people that do, it was probably more 4 or 5 stars. Why does someone who doesn't like movie theaters go to a movie or just leave a review for no apparent reason? Strange people. But let's head to the next theater. Our next stop takes us up north to the dairy state of Wisconsin, to Portage, Wisconsin, to the Portage Theater. How creative. This vintage looking movie theater has a 4.7 rating on 1,060 reviews. Your fun fact about Portage is that Jeffrey Dahmer was in prison at the Columbia Correctional Institution here. Yeah, so with that in mind, let's go read some movie theater reviews. We'll get Portage popping off with Alicia. Was so excited to try this place out.
Terrible, horrible customer service.
I get being busy. I get having non-stop days.
But
The management is awful. When giving a speech to the entire room before the movie, Nathan, the manager, said, "I'm here to serve you, but I'm not your servant, so pick up after yourselves." Who says that to customers? No one was being rowdy or anything, just awful. Left pretty much right away, didn't even bother with the refund. I'll drive to Sun Prairie. This manager speech reminds me when you were a kid and you go to someone's house for the first time, their parents are like way stricter than yours, and you got this like rundown of all these different rules, and you're like, why am I being told all this common sense stuff? Like, do you guys not trust me? It's kind of the same vibe this manager's giving off to people just going to watch a movie. Seems strange. Let's keep reading. The next movie theater review comes from Marcial. Between my wife and I spent $28. 2 seniors, 1 popcorn, 1 Diet Pepsi. We were the only ones in the whole theater. Maybe that explains the exorbitant admissions.
we are boycotting this venue from hell.
That is a shame they had to pay for 2 seniors. At my local movie theater, they have dozens of seniors for free. Strange. The next review comes from Steve. Time for new counter help. Wife ordered a drink which they didn't have cold. This was fine, but when we asked for a cup to put it in with ice, we were given a small kid's cup.
Come on.
With the ice, it would have been at least 6 or 7 times filling a cup with her drink. When asking for a bigger cup, we got the response, "That's all I can give for a free cup," with a blank "what are you gonna do" face. Really? We just spent at least double the price for a warm drink and can't get a cup to put it in. He was very rude and would be the reason we won't return. Alright, Jeff fans, this is where I need your help. What would you have done if you were in the movie theater worker's shoes? Would you have given Steve and his wife a free larger cup? Or just given him the blank stare like this guy did? Let me know. The next review comes from Princess. I didn't know Wisconsin had a monarchy. Super rude old lady works here. Avoid at all costs. 0 out of 10. Never going to come back here thanks to being yelled at over
Positively nothing.
How does someone get into a situation at a movie theater to get themselves yelled at over, quote, positively nothing? That's the real question here. Now let's read Alex's review. First experience here, and I wouldn't recommend it. As soon as we walked in the door, they demanded that we opened our blanket to prove we weren't hiding anything inside. Never had this problem at a Marcus or AMC before.
Second,
The manager seemed very off-putting when we asked if we could switch out our medium-sized drink for the Venom cup and pay the difference. He said, "No, because you walked away with the cup." It's a paper cup, how expensive could it be? We wanted to dump the old drink into the cup so we could have the souvenir cup, but the manager was very rude about it. They advertised these amazing recliner chairs, but they were covered in spilled popcorn, barely opened up so there isn't any recline. And they were set up in the same form as a typical cinema, so as you recline you can't see the bottom 2 feet of the screen. Poor customer service and poor cinema design. I'd recommend sucking it up and going to the AMC in Lake Delton. At least you'd have nicer people in a better theater. The first part about the blanket check, I can understand. You never know if someone's trying to sneak in some Mike and Ike's or some Milk Duds up in their blanket, but I've never had that happen to me. But the second part about the souvenir cup, I'm guessing that more depends on the employee. Maybe there's some like hoops they have to jump through on the computer, so it's just easier for them to say no. I'm not too sure, but let's go to the next review. And the next review comes from Ethan. I guess the word on the grapevine is that they let 10-year-olds watch rated R movies. Psh. You know what I smell? I smell a narc. Get 'em! In all seriousness, I really hope they're not letting 10-year-olds into rated R movies because that could be pretty traumatizing. Let's go to the next movie theater. Before we get to the next movie theater, please take a second and make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. Most of my viewers are not subscribed. Alright, back to the video. Our next stop takes us to the capital of Maine, to the Regal Augusta in Augusta, Maine. The city of Augusta has a population of 18,899 people, making it the 3rd least populous capital, right behind Montpelier, Vermont, and Pierre, South Dakota. I think that's a fun enough fact, so let's go read the reviews. First up for Regal Augusta is Ellie. We already bought out tickets and were let into the movie. An employee came in and stared at us. This has happened twice. We also bought our food. The assistant manager came in the theater and caused a scene arguing with us. They made us leave the theater with no refund. Uh-oh, Jeff fans. Looks like I need your guys' help again because I have no idea what's going on in this review. Let me know your best theory. The next review comes from Cheryl.
I'm deeply disappointed in this theater and its management team.
I went to a Friday night showing of Mission Impossible. I don't dwell on the fact that the employees at the snack bar were rude, but I must make a statement about the cleanliness of this theater.
Every
Doorway entry that entered into the theater was filthy with popcorn and other movie treats, as well as the main lobby areas.
I don't understand.
There were several employees standing around and goofing off. There were dustpans and brooms at most of the entrances. Are guests leaving the theater and throwing their popcorn on the ground?
What has happened to our society?
I've noticed from reading a lot of reviews that people really get mad if they see a mess and then they see an employee just standing around, and they're always quote unquote goofing off if they are standing around, and you know what? I love it. Next up in Maine is Henry. There isn't really any reason to go here if you live closer to Farmington. The prices are 3 times as much, you have assigned seating, the people are weird. You don't get free water. I really don't like this place. I don't know, Henry. Based on your review, it sounds like you kind of like this place. Alright, let's go to the next review, and that one comes from Seth. Saw the new Scream tonight, and the staff were great, save for one person.
The manager on duty.
He was rude, argumentative, and downright unprofessional. He snapped at myself and the staff working. He wore no name tag and didn't give me his name. He was a wretched human being. This goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, what do you have to do at a movie theater to get yelled at by the manager? Like, I usually show up, buy my ticket, buy a snack or two or some popcorn, and I go to my seat. What else is there to it? Next up for Regal is Selena. I don't go to this theater often, for several reasons, but today my husband and I had time to kill, and decided to go to a movie. The literal second we opened the theater, it smelled so badly of urine we almost left. We got to our seats and they were broken down, uncomfortable, and again the smell was horrific. We will not come again. I don't think you could pay me to sit through a movie if the theater smelled like urine. I would just cut my losses and go do something else. We go from Selena to Christina. We are from out of town. Not sure how the whole self-check-in and seating works. 45 minutes into a movie and we were made to move. After paying $38 for 3 people, we ended up leaving. Instead of the back row seats we thought we got, we ended up in the front row, seating so close we could not sit there. There were plenty of open seats in the theater, and when I went to find someone to assist in better seating, nobody was attending the counter. Very disappointing experience. The most confusing thing about this review is why'd they have to move 45 minutes into the movie? Did the people show up 45 minutes late to a movie? Like, what the heck's the point in that? Let's move on to Kristen. Went to Regal instead of our usual flagship because of gift cards. Everything was dirty. The bathroom and floor was disgusting. And it wasn't even 4 p.m. The movie was scheduled to start at 4:15 but ran ads until 4:40 to recline the chairs. It was very difficult to pull the lever.
Pull the lever, Kronk.
And they shot you back. The prices were much higher than other theaters. 0 reason to come back. I don't know, those chairs sound pretty fun. Maybe they can shoot you far enough back to send you to the next movie theater. Let's go! The next movie theater we're going to visit is Studio City East in Casper, Wyoming. This theater has a bit of a vintage look to it and it's surrounded by mountains, and it holds a 4.6 rating on 713 reviews. Casper has a population of 59,038 people. The city's nickname is the Oil City because that's what happens when you squeeze a ghost. Oil comes out of it, you know, like Casper the Ghost. Ha ha ha. Oh. Well, after that bad joke, let's go read some movie theater reviews. First up for Studio City East is Paisley. I feel the theater hadn't been properly cleaned or sanitized in a long while. Smells like an old dirty couch. The chairs are very uncomfortable and dirty. It smells dirty and it is dirty. This place is off to a pretty bad start, but let's keep reading. Up next for Casper is Frank.
Are you kidding me?
I'm at the premiere for Ant-Man and the Wasp. I go to buy popcorn and the guy who doesn't see me
Is eating popcorn out of the machine.
Where the heck has his hands been?
Last time.
I go here. That is very, very disgusting, and something I've never thought about movie theater employees doing. Oh my goodness. Oh, well, I just had popcorn the other day from a movie theater. Oh no. Oh man, sorry about that. After a quick purging, we're back with Simeon. Trash. The employees were rude. They didn't even say enjoy the movie. And then in Studio 9, they had garbage all over the floor, under the seats, and trash still in the cup holders. Dirty theater and dirty employees. This place sounds just gross. Let's keep reading. How was Dan's experience? Went to see Beetlejuice movie. Sat for about an hour only watching local advertisements. One lady made 2 attempts to get the movie started, which is where I walked out. Because if it had started, I'd almost have 30 more minutes of new movie previews before the actual movie I came for even started. We come to your theater because you have a movie scheduled.
You should stick to the schedule.
A movie in a theater starting super late can like throw your entire evening or day off, because if you went to a movie at night and it started an hour late and it's a 2-hour movie, that's a whole 3-hour experience now. That's a lot of time spending in a really dirty, smelly movie theater. Let's see what happened to Desiree. I went to this theater with my family. We were watching Halloween Ends, and right before the movie started, a bunch of teenagers at the top row called out the effing N-word. I am not from this state, but if this is what these kids are being taught, disgusting. We left and won't be back. I don't blame Desiree for leaving at all. That'd be super off-putting, especially at the beginning of a movie if someone just yelling something like that. That'd be horrible. And horrible pretty much sums up how this theater went. So let's head to the next one. Our next stop takes us to the Ohio, to the Showcase Cinema Deluxe Springdale 18 in Springdale, Ohio. This movie theater is located in a giant standalone building, and they offer IMAX. It holds a 4.3 rating on 3,123 reviews. 3. Springdale is a suburb of Cincinnati, and it holds a population of 11,007 people, which is up from 382 from the 1870 census. Alright, let's jump into the reviews. We'll get Ohio started with Austin. Went to see an R-rated movie at 8 p.m. on a Sunday. Turns out I paid $37 just to sit in a child's daycare room. Knocking chairs, constant 8-year-old Gen Alpha brain dribble meme commentary and noise making, yelling during random moments, or quiet dialogue. I don't even know what half the movie was about now with no closed captions and the howler monkeys they have running up and down the side stairs. This was an
IMAX.
Like, usually the media is so loud in such setups it shouldn't matter, but I guess they can't even get the audio right either. Absolutely
Pathetic.
theater. Do not waste money here unless you want the experience equivalent to an elementary school recess. Fun fact out there for you guys, if you ever want to personally torture me, put me in a movie theater with a bunch of kids running around and screaming and my head might explode. The next opinion comes from Brian. The sound in Auditorium 1 is completely messed up. The left surround channels are being used as a main channel. One speaker's blown and rattling. Highly distracting.
Edit.
The sound in almost all the theaters has been set up incorrectly by whatever idiot they hired. I'm done with this place for good. How hard is it to test sound? Need me to come and do it? I'd be happy to. It's not hard to move a few plugs around. I wish this review had one more edit where Brian attached a video of him going behind the scenes at the movie theater and fixing it in like 30 seconds, because that would be pretty hilarious. But sadly, no. Let's hear from Kate. Very poor experience. The movie theater was so hot, people were fanning themselves throughout the entire theater. It was miserable, and the AC didn't kick on until we walked out. I was getting nauseous. Seats are outdated. Trash cans were completely full. Trash all over the ground. The staff was extremely unpleasant. Took 25 minutes just to get popcorn. Extremely slow and downright rude. 25 minutes to get popcorn. What do they have to do? Go out to the field and shuck the corn themselves? It's not Bill or Will. It's William. Guest interactions could be a lot better. They could not come up with a good enough reason as to why I couldn't sit in an area near the screen my movie was going to be playing at. I have no idea either, William, because you left a pretty vague review, but that's okay. We're moving on to the next one. It's time for Teresa. Went there at 10 a.m., had to clean our own seats off. The staff was rude at the snack counter. Popcorn all over the floor. She was literally standing in it while scooping into bags. Not the cleanest or friendliest place to go. I know I'm reading 1-star reviews, so it's pretty biased, but what's with all these rude people that work at movie theaters? It should be pretty easy. Just like scoop popcorn, fill drinks, give people candy, and then hand them a ticket and say enjoy the show, and then you go and clean up a little bit. I know there's a lot more to it than that, but it seems like being nice to customers should be pretty easy. We go from Teresa to Tammy. Let's see what happened to her. The place itself is nice. We went and watched Twister while someone brought their 18th-old, and the poor baby screamed and yelled the whole time. The movie was very loud, but the child was louder. The 3 ladies were just laughing. You would have thought management would have come in, gave it headphones or something. Maybe it's just because I'm a dog dad and not a human dad, but I could never imagine bringing a 1.5-year-old to a movie like Twister. That doesn't make any sense, or to any movie in a movie theater. Oh, my head. Oh, I don't get it. Let's go to the next theater. For our next stop, we get to go to Florida. Woohoo! To the AMC in Tallahassee. This theater is located inside inside of a mall, and it has a 4.4 rating on 3,187 reviews. Tallahassee is the capital of Florida and has a population around 196,169 people.
Nice.
Your fast Florida fun fact is that the rock band Creed associates themselves with the city of Tallahassee. So with arms wide open, let's go read these reviews. First up in Florida is Adriana.
Terrible.
I bought tickets online and I couldn't watch the movie due to my friend now having an ID with her. They gave me my money back on a gift card I can't use anywhere else.
But at AMC,
Why would you give me back $40 on a gift card?
if I can't watch the movie
I've called
multiple times.
and they won't answer the phone if you ask for a representative. I've lost $40 that I cannot spend at the
Movie theater I cannot watch.
This was a bit of a stumper for me. I know she meant her friend didn't have her ID with her, so couldn't her friend just get her ID and then they could watch the movie at a different time? And why can't I'm very confused by this. We're just gonna move on. The next review comes from Gloria. All the seats are dirty and nasty. And I mean nasty like they've never been cleaned.
Fabric.
Is covered in huge liquid stains which may be soda or urine. But either way, disgusting and unacceptable. We are not coming back to that place. I don't blame Gloria at all for not wanting to come back unless that's like a 4D movie and you're supposed to feel disgusted. Not for me. Nothing artificial here, it's just natural.
The chairs suck.
They were reclining without me even touching the buttons. I hope idea how those things are supposed to effectively operate. Maybe the chair reclined back too fast and just Natural's head's a little bit rattled. Because I have no idea what the heck they're talking about. Next up, it's Purge.
This place is an outdated dump.
The theater is in dire need of an overhaul. I honestly don't know how they can compete with CRX. It is a movie theater in a mall, and malls all peaked in the 80s and 90s, so it probably is a bit outdated because my mall movie theater is super outdated and part of the reason why I want to make this video. Next up is Timmy Turner's rival, Vicky. Watched a movie on 1/20/24. The water temperature in the restroom didn't get hot at all and the bathroom floors needed to be mopped. During the movie, a AMC worker came into the theater and supposedly adjusted the thermostat. However, the theater remained cold during the 3-hour movie. The entire theater was extremely cold, which was a direct conflict because it was 30 degrees outside. I have no plans to go back to this location.
AMC.
Do better. The water never getting hot in the restroom is pretty disgusting because where do you think the employees wash their hands at? And a cold movie theater is to be expected, but if it's 30 degrees outside, that's very unpleasant. The next Florida review comes from Florida man Kenneth. I really don't leave bad reviews, and we have had fun experiences prior. But what I've noticed at this theater lately is a crappy attitude towards customers. Our last trip to the show was definitely not a fun experience. Probably start going to a different theater altogether. AC not working, not a fun experience. If you take Vicky's review and Kenneth's review and cut them in half, then you have a pretty decent experience at this movie theater. And I hope you had a good experience watching this video because it's come to an end. Watch this video on screen now because YouTube thinks you'll like it. Leave a like if you haven't and subscribe for more. Until next time, goodbye.